What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are jumping back into Night Terrors with the Green Lantern issue number 1. You're gonna want to stay all the way through to the end because we also have Sinestro. I know a lot of people are interested. How are you going to show Sinestro his greatest fear? An individual that has overcome fear in ways that nobody else ever has. But the main story is focusing on the one and only Hal Jordan, a story by Jeremy Adams, with the world's heroes being put into a slumber by insomnia as he searches for the Nightmare Stone. All of our heroes have been jumped into their worst nightmares, their biggest fears, and we have seen this play out for a multitude of heroes and villains. But now it is time to see Hal Jordan's, the man with the willpower to overcome anything. What will happen when he is confronted by his greatest nightmares? Make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we are picking up exactly where Green Lantern issue number 2 had left off. Going into the cockpit to see what the heck is going on. This is when they get hit by insomnia. As Hal Jordan opens up that door, he finds himself not going into the cockpit. He finds himself at a funeral, and he hears his mother. Looking up to her, he sees that this is his mother, but she looks the way that she did when he was a child. And we see that Hal has transformed into his kid self. And today, they are at the funeral of his father. His mother telling him that it's all fine, that he simply needs to say goodbye. As he approaches the coffin, a hand is coming out. Not really sure what's going on, not sure what's happening. We see the monstrous version of his father come out of this casket. As little Hal goes to run away, his family and friends, they all turn into monsters. All of them trying to grab hold of him, telling him that there is nothing to fear. As he reaches the door and opens it up, this is where he runs into Carol. The entire scenario and background changes, letting him know that he is late, that he needs to get in that cockpit and get ready to test it out. And so he hops in, but as soon as he hops in, this thing takes off. It is going full throttle, believing that this should be impossible, mainly because it doesn't even have an engine, that this thing is really just a hunk of metal. But yet it takes him all the way to the desert, with him crash landing. He looks up only to find Abin Zur, finding the wreckage of the alien ship, telling Hal Jordan that he requires aid, telling him to take the ring, with Hal Jordan putting the ring on, saying that he's honored to do so, but he is no hero. We see that this ring is starting to siphon his life force, that Abin Zur needed somebody that was weak, someone that this world would not miss, and so it brought him Hal Jordan. It's draining the life force of Hal into Abin Zur. With Hal Jordan grabbing something nearby, he cuts off his own finger. He does this to get the ring off of his hand. Seeing a door nearby, he rushes over to try and open it up. As the Green Lantern comes in to slash Hal Jordan in half, he opens that door only to find himself on Oa. He stands in front of the Guardians. They are talking about the reports of the events that had resulted in a fellow corpsman's death. And while Hal Jordan, he is offered up to go take a team down to the planet. But the Guardians deny this request, saying that he is no longer part of the Green Lantern Corps, not after the United Planets had took control. At this point, Hal Jordan is seeing that things aren't right, that this room, Kilowog, the Guardians, none of this is real. Using his ring, he pushes the illusion back, with Insomnia going on to say in the form of the Guardians that he really has to admit that he has fared way better than all the other heroes on this planet. He had to shift the reality so many times to find the perfect fear, warning them to get back. We see the Guardians turn into monsters and they begin to attack Hal Jordan, with Hal manifesting Spartan warriors. They take down this hellish nightmare, but there is still one more fear that he must face. As he flies into the giant lantern, as he flies into the central battery, Hal Jordan is now facing his greatest nightmare. And so with Hal Jordan facing off against this is what takes us to the story of Sinestro, present day in Coast City. As he walks through the city, Sinestro is not the man that he once was. He was once a man that was feared. He used to traffic in fear. He made fear. But now he is mocked. He is belittled. And even worse, he has been forgotten. A man that once ruled planets and star systems. Entire races had quaked at the mere sound of his voice. He was the definition of power, of fear. But now he is nothing. Now he is afraid. As the insomnia spell begins to take people over, we see the transformation of Sinestro's view. Not sure if he is alive, not sure if he is dead, not sure where he is at all, but his surroundings are completely alien, yet they are oddly familiar, twisted and warped, somehow rooted in a memory. All of the shame, it blends with the pain, almost a nostalgic cocktail of duties abandoned, of friends turned foe. He doesn't need to know where he is or how he got here. He exuded power, killed without hesitation, ruled with impunity, and then it was gone. He found himself shamed by how Pariah's Dark Army manipulated him, used him, and improved on him. He became a twisted, better version of himself. But now here, he is without his ring, without himself. He feels as if he is nothing. This is where he is met by an evil version of Abenzor, saying that he is to return home. And he knows, Sinestro knows that this is impossible, wondering who is responsible for such treachery. And what Sinestro sees is himself, as we see this evil Sinestro turn into a hideous monster, asking him how does it feel to fail? How often do you play every moment, every decision, and wonder if things were better before? Is this where things begin to fall apart? As this monster gets destroyed, we see what appears to be a Green Lantern on the horizon. At first, Sinestro believes that this is Hal Jordan, but this is not Jordan. This is Sinestro Green Lantern, and he has just come to save Sinestro's life. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we are picking up with Hal Jordan, and he is facing what the Nightmare Realm believes to be his ultimate nightmare. That, of course, is Parallax. And though Hal Jordan gets smacked down to the ground, he lets this thing know that I'm not afraid of you. But Hal Jordan knows that this is not Parallax, going on to ask, what are you? And it goes on to say that I am your nightmares come to life. And though it may be true, you have been more difficult than the others on this planet, that your fears, they taste different. Your father's death, worries that you couldn't be the man that Abenzor chose you to be, the death of your friend, and finally the things that you did when this alien took over your body. Finding it funny that your race carries their fears on the surface, but Hal Jordan, his fears, they are buried deep within you. But now that the nightmare has found them, he is letting Hal Jordan know that you will be screaming for your death, asking if he has any last words. The nightmare finds it odd that Hal Jordan is smiling, and Hal Jordan cannot help himself, telling this nightmare that you picked the wrong planet and the wrong person to try and scare. Kilowog had once told him that fear stood for false evidence appearing real, that those fears you think you found, they were moments when he had chose to face what he feared. He was faced with a choice, to worry about what might happen next, or push full throttle forward and fly into the sky. And while the nightmare tries to say that in this place you are nothing, getting the words out, beware my power, Hal Jordan reminds him that that is his line. And that's where Hal Jordan smacks this dude right across the face. Blood and teeth coming out, and this guy is knocked straight to the ground. And at this point, the nightmare is asking Hal Jordan, what are you? Responding to it, he says that he is a Green Lantern, and a Green Lantern is your worst nightmare. As we see this nightmare try to run away, he runs into a building and Hal Jordan follows behind, leaving behind the nightmare of Abenzor, trying to use this as a way to stall him. We see Hal Jordan knock this nightmare right out of the realm. And as Hal Jordan looks up to the sky, he sees that the nightmare is so scared of him that he is trying to run away. He is trying to escape. But apparently the nightmare never heard the part of "no evil shall escape my sight." And so with Hal Jordan catching up to him, the nightmare turns on him and he sends everything that he has. With Hal Jordan standing toe to toe with this monster, busting out a light construct that is a giant gun. We see Hal Jordan unload this gun and we shoot this nightmare straight down to the ground. Hal Jordan flying down into this building, letting the nightmare know that it is time to get this over with. As he walks into the room, this is where he runs into all of his family and friends. Horrible nightmares that stand before him. But he knows that this is not his dad. This is not his family. This is only making him mad, bringing out a chainsaw-like construct. He begins to hack his way through every single one of them, dismembering all of them in one stroke, using a pistol to blast people's heads off. In a matter of moments, there is nobody left standing except for Hal Jordan. As he turns around, he sees the nightmare. The nightmare telling Hal Jordan that this is not over. As we see these two forces about to collide together, Hal Jordan telling it to get out of my head. Almost instantaneously, Hal Jordan is out of the nightmare. He is back in that cockpit, back in the plane, exactly where he was left. Recognizing that he is back in the land of the living, he knows that he can't be the only one that was affected by this wave. Checking on the pilot, making sure that he is okay. He knows that he has to go find this thing. He knows that he must stop it. And so, taking over the plane, he goes to land this safely, and he prepares to join up with the others to face against insomnia. And this is what takes us to Shards from the Looking Glass, the Sinestro story. Now, Sinestro's story, in his nightmare, he is facing against two versions of himself. The monster and the hero. The Green Lantern and the Yellow Lantern. The man is at war with himself. The hero that he once was, beloved and respected. And then the tyrant, the murderer, the overlord, the monster. He can feel this bubbling inside of him. He can feel the shame. He has come face to face with the darkest evil, his worst fears. And what he sees is himself. But he also knows that something or someone has infiltrated him, twisted reality to create this monstrosity. Whoever is responsible, he vows to make them pay. That he will crack open their skulls and laugh as they bleed to death. But we see that he argues with himself, asking what he has become. Once upon a time, he wore the Green Lantern uniform with pride. He served the Guardians, used their will to help the people. He was a hero. But now what? His other half responding that he is galaxies away from that simpering man, that he stood tall, a being of undisputed power, one who instilled fear with just a glance. But the broken thing he is now, this discarded bag of flesh, is something else. He is a failure, a waste. He is nothing. Sinestro letting them both know that you know nothing of who I am, of what I have done, of what I have sacrificed. But it puts him down in his place. Once he was a conjurer of fear itself, and how quickly it seems that he has forgotten who he was. A revolutionary, a merciless destroyer of worlds, an absolute master of fear. But now he seems to be nothing more than a parody, as we see both sides, the angel and the devil, the yin and yang pulling from both directions. He must wonder, is there hope? And hope, such a strange and alien word to him, a sensation that he had exiled to the far reaches of his mind. And he wonders to himself, could there ever be a path back to what he once was, or what he once tried to be? And if there was, would he take that path? That is when he hears a voice in his head telling him to wake up, to help him be free. The voice saying that it is a friend, that they are bonded forever, and that now it is time to escape this. As he runs down the pathway, what he runs into is his own daughter. And when he reaches out asking her for help, he quickly sees that she is not here to help him. She goes in to attack, but Sinestro said that he has had enough of this, that he did his best for her, he made the right choices. As she makes the proclamation that she has come to bury him, we see a giant surge of energy, and Sinestro is now back in the waking world. But the question still lingers. What has he become? This question doesn't go unanswered for long. The doubt, the fear, the shame, it is all gone now. He has been through his own personal hell. He is no longer afraid. He knows who he is, who he has always been. And now it is time to let the world know as well. And that is the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. We will be seeing the return of Sinestro in issue number 3 of Green Lantern next month. The question remains, who will Sinestro be? Will he go down the path of redemption? Will he try to be the hero once more? Or will Sinestro go back to the ways that he once was? Back to the ways of instilling fear among all of those who face him. All in all, this series, this story with Green Lantern was absolutely phenomenal. This is exactly what you expect from a Green Lantern story, especially one that deals with fear, with nightmares. We knew that Hal Jordan wouldn't be succumbed to this. We knew that he would be able to fight against the dying of the light, that you cannot put fear into a man like Hal Jordan. That he has faced some of the world's, the universe's greatest threats, some of the biggest fears to ever exist, and he has come out on top victorious. Today is no exception. In the grand scheme of things, Insomnia is nothing more than a pebble, and Hal Jordan is the boulder. But more than ever, this has proven why Hal Jordan is arguably one of the greatest, if not the greatest Green Lantern to ever exist. That his willpower is so strong, there is nothing you can do that would take away from that would make him to succumb to fear. And now that he is back in the waking world, Insomnia is about to learn face to face exactly what that means. Exactly what it means to face the wrath of Hal Jordan, Green Lantern. But let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you would like to get completely caught up on everything that is going on with Night Terrors, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It will get you completely caught up on the entirety of this story. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership, much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. If you are unable to do that, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.